Hello everyone, my name is Maria and this is my CAP video assignment for M8T2. Because of changes in federal legislation, for example IDEA, parents are now equal partners with school personnel, allowing them to access children's school records and participate in the design and evaluation of special education services. Research reveals that parent participation leads to many positive outcomes for children with special needs. Despite empirical support, theoretical justification, and legislative foundation, research has indicated that family involvement in and satisfaction with school-based services is often minimal. In order to establish a successful relationship between school and families of children in special education, there are some core elements that should be taken into consideration: communication, parent input in the IEP process, and parent satisfaction with school services. Considering what we've explained earlier, the purpose of this investigation was to examine families' involvement in and perceptions of children's special education services. Who was involved and how did it take place? Well, a telephone survey was conducted with 45 families of children with autism who were part of a parent support group. The children range in age from 4 to 18 years old of age, and each had an IEP. This research used the core elements we explained earlier on the relationship between schools and families of children in special education, and designed a total of 15 questions around these elements. There were also questions regarding the student's placement and special education services. Questions regarding placement and special education. Parents were asked about the amount and nature of special education services that their children receive from their schools. Parents reported that 73% of the students spend part of their day in a general education classroom, which means that more than half experience some degree of inclusion. Speech therapy was the most prevalent service. This is not surprising, given that delayed social and communication skills are the core or primary characteristics of autism. Communication with school personnel. The questions were related to the frequency and quality of communication that parents have with teachers and other personnel at their child's school. 100% of parents stated that they communicated with someone essential to their child's education, usually involved the child's teacher or paraprofessional. Families whose children were between 4 to 14 years old of age reported the highest frequency of communication. Approximately a third of parents reported the communication sometimes centered on disagreements or conflicts. 50% of parents whose children were between 10 to 14 years old of age indicated that they periodically had conflicts with school personnel. The majority of parents expressed moderate satisfaction with homeschool communication, whereas 18% expressed low satisfaction. The IEP. Questions referred to the nature of parents' knowledge about and involvement in their child's IEP process. The majority believed that they had high to moderate knowledge of their child's IEP document. Parents whose children were between 4 to 9 years old reported more involvement in the IEP process when compared to the group of parents whose children were older. 73% reported moderate levels of satisfaction with the IEP process. Priorities and satisfaction. Questions were related to the nature of parents' priorities and the level of overall satisfaction with their child's special education services. The most dominant need that the parents identified for their children were social interaction and communication skills. The most discouraging outcome was regarding parent satisfaction with their child's school ability to meet his or her most pressing needs. 44% of families indicated that schools were doing little or nothing to address these needs. Parents of children in younger age groups believed that schools were doing more to address their child's needs than parents of older students. Parents of older children reported lower levels of satisfaction. Overall, like prior research, authors have found that parents are generally satisfied with the quality of their children's special education services. Thanks for your attention. This is the end of my presentation.